Miss Asa Lind. Hello and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure for us to be hosting you in Çoget, İzmir Children's and Youth Literature Days once more. You were with us last year in January. We were face to face then. And for 2 days you were surrounded, all your fans, mostly fans of Sandwolf, kids, teachers, parents, and young writers. For 2 days, it was a very enriching experience for all of us. And this year, you are again with us. It's a pleasure for us to be with you again. We know you are a very successful author of children's books worldwide. But we also know that you are an active actor in the Swedish literature communities. We know that you are the chairman of Sweden Children's Books Academy. And we would like to ask you in that regard, you know, the world is going through this pandemic and most literature environments have been affected of that. How was the Swedish literature community affected from the pandemic? The bookstores, publishers, authors, children's books especially. How did the authorities handle this process to ease the hardships that these groups faced?
Well, the situation has been something we never experienced before. And there has been effects and problems on different levels. And the authorities has responded in what ways they have found the best. For the writers, the community of writers, illustrators, translators, etc., there has been extra money that has been distributed directly after sort of quality. There has been a quality thinking behind how to distribute these extra grants that has been given. So that has been quite generous. It has been more generous than we expected from the beginning as a community. Still, of course, the field of culture and literature never gets enough money. So the very basic problem is still there, that the culture sector as such always has difficulties to make a living for all those who would like to make a living on culture. One big effect in Sweden has been the closing of the libraries or the limited access to libraries. And of course, that has affected the children in very high extents. Normally, you find a lot of children in the libraries. The kindergarten goes to libraries. And I mean, you get direct access to the books. Now there has been other means of distributing books, but closing down the libraries has also been a big question on the principal level, as many of us find it as a sort of the libraries should never be closed, since libraries have such a vital importance for building democracy. It is necessary for people to have the access to the information given from the libraries. And but as I say, it's one of the most difficult effects of the pandemic situation is children not being able to go to schools. And that is for all countries. And if you would count together all the days children have missed school worldwide, that will have effect for a long time to come. I mean, 1 year in isolation for me as being 60 years old is not that big deal as being 7 or 8 or teenager and being isolation in very restricted, with a lot of restrictions, and missing out school. I mean, that is not good.
This period has been, of course, very difficult for many of us. And compared with other times, this pandemic caused more children to get acquainted with concepts which we generally consider are hard for them to comprehend, like viruses, loss of loved ones, intensive care units, maybe. And it was very difficult for most parents to explain these traumas, very complex and abstract concepts to their children. How do you think these bitter realities of life, so to say, should be explained to children? Should they be explained to them to start with? And how could literature and books help us in this process?
Well, it is difficult to understand, and it is complex for grown-ups as well. Mm. I mean, do I understand virus completely? No. Do I understand the what will come after? Do I understand the consequences? No, I don't. And hence, if it's difficult for me, of course, it's difficult for anyone, no matter what age you are. But as with all kind of questions, it's very important to not try to make the impression that you as a grown-up understand more than you really do. And to put the explanations on a level for children to understand, and not explaining too much, not doing any over explanation to things. I mean, you don't have to grab your child and tell it that I will have to tell you something very difficult and extremely hard, etc. But think of it in like small bits. Be sensitive to a situation where questions might turn up, but try to keep an open mind or an open attitude so the children will know that I can ask things, and hence build the talks around what question the children actually have. And through the changes in the everyday life that we have to do. Washing hands, why? Using face mask, why? And well, really, I do not think it is that difficult, I must say. The difficult is, as always, that it's very hard for anyone, and it's even harder on one level for the grown-ups, because we can understand the consequences. When you are 4 or 5 or 6, you don't have the same preview. You don't think of all the consequences. You're more in the situation. Okay, we have to wash our hands. Why? Because it will help us not to catch this corona or COVID or what you call it. And that is very easy. It's like with any kind of flu or with any kind of stomach illness. The concept of washing hands is not difficult. So, and books can help. I mean, it's very, very good to have a book, a non-fiction book about how does virus work when you explain virus. It's good for the grown-up person as well, to have something explained in a way that children can understand. If I read that kind of book, I can perhaps understand something myself. I can learn. As a grown-up, you also learn from children's books. As we, as writer for children, try to find a language and a way to approach questions that makes it possible to comprehend. So yes, there is a problem, and we shall not make it too difficult for ourselves. And there can also be a possibility to explore the question together. What is the virus? And that can be the start of a scientific adventure as well. That can be not always a bad experience. And the loss of loved ones, that is something most children experience sooner or later in life, rather later than sooner, but death is death in whatever shape it comes. What might, as always, scare children or build up a sense of fear is when grown-ups are afraid. The most frightening thing when you're small is when grown-ups show fear in a scary way, or hide the fear. Personally, I think the worst thing is when grown-ups hide the fear and pretend there is nothing to be afraid of, when every child understands that there is something to be afraid of. Like having a wolf behind your back and keep on saying, no, there is no wolf behind the back, and the child goes, but yeah, I can see there's a wolf behind your back. So I don't know if this makes any sense, but we must, as always, listen to the child and be open to have sincere conversations.
So everything is explicable, as you did in the Sandwolf.
Yes.
Many
Yes.
concepts.
Yes, and when we don't have the answer, we must not be afraid to say, I really do not know, but let's try to find out together.
That's a learning experience together. It's an adventure as well.
Yes, yes, as long as we remember to wash our hands. I mean, that's that's very basic.
Yes, that we can do.
Together.
Yes. So I think this is enough for the pandemic issue. We have some other good news. Well, we know, congratulations for being awarded the 2020 prize of Snowball this
Thank
year.
you.
And we understand that this Snowball prize, looking at my notes, encourages the publishers and writers in the area of picture books to expand the limits of artistic impressions. So, your book, Come the Day, Come the Night,
Yes.
has received this prize for this year. Can we listen to you about what's behind? Yes, that's the book. I saw it in social media, couldn't get hold of it yet, but now you are showing us, and this is the news for those who haven't had the opportunity before. Why was this book awarded that specific prize? In what way is it different and inspiring?
Well, we can say, of course, being a picture book, there are two of us. It's me and the illustrator Emma Virke.
Yes.
And it was she who approached me and said that, would you like to make the words for an idea I have. So then I asked her, why do you not write yourself? Because she's both an illustrator, but she also do her own writing. She's also an author. But she said, I can't do this one. It needs another language. And she said, it's a accordion book. And so it's like this.
Oh, that's impressive.
It is like 2.5 meters long. It's very long.
So it's a long story.
It's a long story.
Maybe.
Yes, and one side of the story is the daytime.
Mm-hmm. Day.
It's about a little girl who, in the last day of the summer, experience both being left behind when all the big children, they can swim. So they swim far out, and she has to be alone on the shore, but not quite alone.
Is that a butterfly?
Yes, or one of these insects that lives only a day. So in the nighttime, she keeps on processing and dreaming about what happened during the day, and comes to the final when she wakes up and she tells her grandfather that to next summer she will learn how to swim. And it's we worked very hard with this one because it was quite difficult to make the story work perfect with this accordion idea. But obviously we did it quite well, since we got this wonderful prize, which for many years has been the picture book prize that I really keep. Always have my I know when it's time for the snowball, because they always pick such wonderful books. So when we got it, of course, I was extremely happy. And it will be an exhibition, and they are also, this organization giving the prize, they're also putting forward the books in a very rich and nice way with exhibitions and activities around the book. So this was really an occasion this winter. It was announced 2 weeks ago, I think.
Well, congratulations again. We know that you are a holder of other prizes and awards as well. You have the Nils Holgersson plaque and Kulla Gulla Prize and the Book Jury Award. Apparently, this award is selected by the children themselves.
Yes.
They vote for their favorite books, and you have received that as well. Congratulations on all of them. And do you have any good news on upcoming new books or other new works before we say goodbye?
It's so, as always, I do not really know what I am doing when I'm. It just happens. I find myself always in the process of trying to do something, trying to write a text, trying to work with an idea. And it's like restarting the process of how to be a writer every time, because I never know how to do it.
Oh.
No, I never know how to do it.
That happens.
Yeah, I know it happens through a lot of work. I have to work to get it to something. But I don't have any kind of concept that always work for anything. So when I look like over my shoulder and look back on what I have done, I always get so surprised, because then I don't remember the effort, but I only see the joy of having fulfilled something, as with this one. I'm always very surprised that I actually wrote what I did right. So hopefully I will be equally surprised in a year and then holding a book in my hands saying, how did I do it?
It's a surprise for you, surprise for us.
Yes.
It's a good surprise.
Yes.
We are looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I so much hope to be able to come to Izmir again.
That will be a great pleasure for us.
Yes,
we are looking forward to it.
It was a great experience to visit last year, and I remember the very intensive days, the very good workshops, and many very valuable meeting with people and with children and with young adults. So thank you for being invited once again.
Oh, thank you for being with us. I hope to see you in person, face to face, at the soonest time. Thank you for joining, and stay well and safe.
You too.
Bye
you
for
too.
now.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.